A few videos ago, we took a look at the world's largest islands. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the world's smallest countries. Now, I'm leaving out a few principalities and those weird small countries like oil platforms which claim to be independent. These are the 10 smallest actual full-on countries, if that makes sense. Starting with the 10th smallest, Malta. The Republic of Malta is an island country in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, just south of Italy. We usually just think of Malta as a single island, but it's actually an archipelago of 3 islands, Gozo, Comino, and Malta, the latter being the largest and main island. It has 316 square kilometers and a population of around 475,000 people, making it the world's 5th most densely populated country. The capital is Valletta, which is the smallest capital of the European Union, of which it's a part of, with only 800 square meters. Now, it became independent from the UK in 1964, but its history as a region goes way back in history. It's been inhabited since 5900 BC, so almost 8,000 years ago. Since it's in the middle of the Mediterranean, it always had a great strategic importance. It was ruled by many peoples, like the Carthaginians, the Romans, Greeks, Arabs, the Normans, the Spanish, the Knights of St. John, the French, and then the British, who made it their colony in 1815. An interesting fact is that the cross on Malta's current flag is the George Cross, a British award given to the island as a reward for their fierce resistance to Axis invasions during World War II. It became a republic in 1974, joined the EU in 2004, and the Eurozone in 2008. Next, we travel to the Indian Ocean, to the Maldives, an Asian country located in the Indian Ocean, just below Sri Lanka and India. It's a chain of 26 atolls, which together make up 298 square kilometers. However, these are the square kilometers of land. The amount of ocean area it takes up is much larger. Apart from these larger atolls, there are over 1,192 coral islands, and it's therefore one of the world's most geographically dispersed states. With 428,000 inhabitants, the capital island and city is Kings Island. Despite being only number 9 on the top 10 of smallest countries, it's the smallest Asian country, both by area and population. It used to be a sultanate since the 12th century, having strong ties to both Asia and Africa. It then became a Portuguese, then Dutch, and then British protectorate, regaining independence in 1965. Also an island, but in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. Up to this day, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is a Commonwealth realm, having Queen Elizabeth II, or the current British monarch, as head of state. It's located in the Caribbean, near the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. It consists of 2 islands called, you guessed it, St. Kitts, the larger one, and Nevis, the smaller one. The capital city is in St. Kitts, the city of Basse-Terre, with only 261 square kilometers and 55,000 people. Anguilla, currently a British dependency, is another island nearby, and historically it was part of this federation, but then went its separate way. These 2 islands have an interesting aspect about them, which is that they were among the very first islands in the Caribbean to be settled by Europeans. St. Kitts was the first settlement of both British and French expeditions to the New World, and it is therefore known as the mother colony of the West Indies. In the Pacific Ocean, the Marshall Islands. The Republic of the Marshall Islands lies almost halfway between Hawaii and Australia, being considered part of Micronesia. The area surrounding the islands is incredibly biodiverse, with over 800 species of fish. The ocean area is also home to a large number of shipwrecks in history, perhaps some still to be found. At 181 square kilometers, it's the 7th smallest country in the world, with a population of just over 53,000, which are spread out over 29 coral atolls and 1,156 individual islands. It's an associated state of the USA, and this means it is a minor partner in a formal but free relationship with the US. For instance, they use the American dollar as their currency. Next, in Europe, Liechtenstein, officially called the Principality of Liechtenstein. This is a German-speaking microstate in Europe, a constitutional monarchy. It's located between Switzerland and Austria, having only 160 square kilometers, with just over 37,000 people living inside them. It has a strong financial sector. In fact, over 20,000 people of neighboring countries commute to work to the Principality every day. Not being a member of the EU, although taking part in almost all treaties, it has a monetary and custom union with Switzerland. Interestingly, this monetary union with Switzerland was a consequence of an embargo by the Allies after World War I due to its proximity with the defeated Austrians. Further south, inside Italy, San Marino, an enclosed region inside of Italy, surrounded by it on all fronts. At just over 61 square kilometers, it's also known as the most serene Republic of San Marino, and it is the world's 5th smallest country. Having a population of 33,000 people, they claim to be the world's oldest republic. The name of the country comes from Saint Marinus, a stonemason which came from a Roman colony in Croatia. According to this tale, in 257 AD, this man helped rebuild the region, which had been attacked by pirates, and he then went on to proclaim an independent community in 301 AD. Therefore, they claim to be both the world's oldest republic, but also the world's oldest continuous state. It is ruled by a constitution which dates back to the 16th century, also being seen as the country with the oldest or some of the oldest written governing documents still in effect. When it comes to GDP per capita, it's amongst the world's richest countries, with a stable economy, low unemployment, no national debt, and a budget surplus. An interesting fact about it is that it has more cars than it has people. The 4th smallest country is Tuvalu, formerly known as Ellis Islands, which is an independent nation within the British Commonwealth. With 10,000 people, only 8 kilometers of roads, and 26 square kilometers spread over 3 reef islands and 6 atolls. It has beautiful beaches and would be very fitting for tourism, but due to its location northeast of Australia, tourism isn't a big part of their economy. Apparently, in 2010, less than 2,000 visitors came to the island. And now we get into the top 3 smallest countries in the world. At number 3, Nauru. It was formerly known as Pleasant Island, but is now the Republic of Nauru, located in the Central Pacific Ocean, part of the Micronesia area. It's the 3rd smallest country in the world, but it is the smallest island state in the world and also the world's smallest republic, with only 11,347 people living in its 21 square kilometers. It was settled by Polynesians and Micronesians in around 1000 BC, then becoming a German colony in the 1800s. These days, it's independent, but it relies heavily on Australian aid, therefore being viewed by many as a client state of Australia. In second place, Monaco, a sovereign city-state/country located in the French Riviera. France surrounds the country throughout all of its land border, being on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. It has an area of just over 2 square kilometers, with around 39,000 people, making it the most densely populated sovereign state in the world. At only 2 square kilometers, it's small, but it used to be smaller. In 2005, the area of the country was only 1,974 square kilometers, having been increased by 20% through land reclamation techniques. It's a constitutional monarchy with Prince Albert II as head of state, being very impressive that his dynasty, the House of Grimaldi, has ruled Monaco since 1297, with only a few brief interruptions. Having its independence officially recognized by France in 1861, it's well known as a haven for rich people because of its tax laws, and the latest survey in 2014 pointed to 30% of the population being millionaires. And finally, the world's smallest country is Vatican City. The Vatican is an independent city-state enclaved within Rome, Italy. It became officially independent in its current form in 1929 with the Lateran Treaty, and is now under the control of the Holy See, meaning that the Catholic Church, which has the Pope at the top of its hierarchy, controls the region. Therefore, it's a theocracy, and technically the Pope is the Bishop of Rome at the same time. It has just around 1,000 people, being the smallest state in the world in both population and area, with only 0.44 square kilometers. According to the Lateran Treaty, the Vatican City is seen as a new creation, and not as a successor or a new version of the old and much larger papal states, which existed from 756 to 1870. They used the euro despite not being a member of the EU, and most of its economy is supported by the sale of souvenirs, admission fees, general income of the Catholic Church, and the contributions of the members of the Church. And those were the 10 smallest countries in the world. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there are a few other independent or autonomous regions which might technically make it in this list, but I wanted to focus on these which are closer or are actual countries rather than those other ones. Thank you to Cesar for becoming the newest patron, and thank you to all of you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe and make sure to leave a comment with your opinions and suggestions. I will see you in the next video.